Imagine being someone who's dedicated your entire life to researching and understanding autoimmune disease, its modality, who it's affecting, and what you think is behind why it develops in the first place, only to wake up one day and realize that you, yourself, are now developing autoimmune disease. One diagnosis suddenly becomes two becomes 7. The fatigue is crushing, the pain is constant, and the future that you were building begins to disappear. Today's guest experienced all of this and more, and she's here to talk to us about how God showed her how to reverse all of it. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Life TV Now, where we unpack all matters of truth, faith, and freedom. I'm Joe Artis-Horn. Today, you are in for a serious treat, as we're going to be unpacking so much of what many of you may have experienced in the past or are currently dealing with, or perhaps you know a loved one that is absolutely encumbered by these nasty words put together called autoimmune disease. And we're going to be taking a look at what you can do beginning right now to change what doctors have spoken over you. First, let me introduce who's here. She's an integrative nutrition health coach with a Master of Science in Health Education. Please welcome my co-host, Jamie Woodall. And she's a medical scientist with a master's in immunotoxicology and her PhD fellowship in autoimmune disease. Please welcome Dorinda Smith. Dorinda, before we dive into things, I just want to say at the onset, I met you about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was trying to do the math last night, and I thought, no, it's got to be 2 years, and I'm doing the calculation. No, this has been almost 5 years now. And I can tell you that Dorinda is the real deal. She has been through it, as we're going to unpack today and next week. But you have helped countless individuals through your now coaching business overcome what doctors have spoken over them. A lot of times they'll tell people in allopathic medicine, these dilemmas that you're dealing with are genetic. Or we don't really know the origins or the whys, but here's a pharmaceutical option that may help mitigate some of the symptoms. And you know how it goes with medications. Usually 1 becomes 3, becomes 7, and the more you take, you're on this huge cocktail of stuff, and yet the root causes are never addressed, and so you see the quality of life every year is just diminishing, it's declining, it continues. Let's back up, because today you're this bright, one of the smartest people I know in immunotoxicology. With all of your background in science, you've been able to quantify and help people really get to the bottom of what's going on with them. Before that we dive into that, though, explain, because at one time you were that person. One diagnosis became several, and your life became this nightmare that you never, ever thought in your youth would come to pass. And that is how so many people get there. They say, man, I thought when I was 8, and the rest of my life was ahead of me. I had these bright plans. I got into my teens, and things began to shift. And one day, mid-20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, this isn't what I signed up for. God, I thought, some of us, even as Christians, God, I thought you had something different for me. How do I serve you if I'm feeling this way? That is such a common situation for so many right now. And with disease literally on the rise on every level, this is happening constantly. I guarantee you right now, people watching this program are like, okay, Joe, stop talking and let the immunotoxicologist take over, because you're speaking to my heart right now. This is me. Let's get in. You were very sick.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Here I am. I'm like this type A control freak, arrogant scientist who thinks that she can do it all. And yeah, it literally got the better of me. And looking back, I can see that I really did start getting sick when I was about 12 years old. But of course, I'm 63 now, and that was a while ago. And so, we didn't even know what we know now.
Right.
And so I was just told, well, okay, you have constant migraines? Well, your mom has migraines. Your grandma had migraines. So obviously you're going to have them too. And that's just the way it is. There really isn't anything that you can do about it. Just here's some more medication, right? And that kept happening throughout my teenage years, where I was having constant bronchitis. I missed several months of high school and had to repeat things because I had constant bronchitis. What was going on there? Well, nobody really knows. Long story short, by the time I was doing my master's and my PhD work, I was really starting to fall apart.
And just for clarity, what are you researching? Because you're looking into
Right.
autoimmunity and its modality and its function and all of that.
Exactly.
So this is happening to you right under your own nose.
And no one saw that I was developing autoimmune disease because that's really about the way it is. It looks like, well, you've got foot problems, and then you've got gut problems, and then you've got head problems, and then you've got hormonal problems, and you've got female problems, and you've got and everybody looks at them individually, and no one really puts them together and says, wow, what is happening?
Well, and I will say that in terms of a culture, while disease is on the rise, one of the side effects of that rise is people are in droves abandoning traditional echo chamber allopathic approach to practicing medicine.
Amen.
Pharmacia, you're seeing a lot more farmers markets and people growing food and talking about things like parasite detox and liver detox. So you are seeing some good come. I'm thinking about my childhood. And I'm thinking about, the vaccine schedule that has completely changed, by the way, from just when I was a kid, just 10 years ago, the number of vaccines that people are wanting to push forth. I'm looking at, again, the rise in people wanting to pursue natural solutions for their health dilemmas. But even just when I was a kid, we're talking about the old food pyramid. How many of you guys were told that you eat things with oats and sugar as a type 2 diabetic and that this is heart healthy? This is how you're supposed to eat right. Make sure you put a banana in it as well for extra, glucose release throughout the day so that you can really spike that insulin. Like everything that we grew up believing
He's wrong.
about cereals having vitamins and sweet people that love the Lord, by the way. But my pediatrician as a kid told my mother in front of me, cereal is mostly good. They're going to get most of their vitamins from cereal. So you see this culture. It's the perfect environment for now. A lot of the boomers and people my age, why I too, decades of autoimmunity and really losing my life 1 year at a time. Right. So, right? You're in that culture of echo chamber that's telling you to eat from the 4 food groups. There's nothing wrong with bread. Sugar's okay as long as it's cane. Like, Kool-Aid on the side of your school lunch. It's in every thermos. It's just a sugar mill for disease. Am I wrong?
No, and it's actually worse than that because when you're being trained in school as a scientist in autoimmune disease, we are taught absolutely zero about nutrition. Zero. Not one class. Not one. Nothing about nutrigenomics that we know today. We know that food is biochemical messengers.
That's right.
That are getting through your cell, and they need to get through your cell to get into the nucleus and then to change the way your genes express about every 30 seconds. But we're not taught any of that in school. Doctors are not taught this. This is why they're not practicing at the root cause level. They are not taught it. They're taught a pharmaceutical, let's name it, then let's hit it with a pharmaceutical and let's just manage it, all the while that management is actually causing the cellular deficiencies and the toxicities that's causing the problem in the first place.
To worsen.
It's insanity. It really is. And thank God that, good practitioners are waking up because they're getting sick, their families are getting sick, and they're looking for a better way. And they're going back to, how God designed our bodies to live in the first place.
What do you think led to the development of your, what ended up being 7
Oh, my goodness.
autoimmune diagnoses?
Yeah. Well, I know that now. I can look back and I can see. But at the time, it was so scary and so very confusing. And I couldn't understand why, I've learned everything there is to know at the top level in the world, basically, about everything about autoimmune disease. And yet, there was nothing to help me except pharmaceuticals, which didn't really help that much, okay?
Very quickly, would you say, because you're going to have some people at home struggle with this. Would you say now, looking back just very quickly as a cliff note, that what you were learning was not at all beneficial then in terms of autoimmunity?
No, I would
Because
not
they're not
go
talking
that
about
far.
diet. There was some things
Right.
that you learned that did help.
Absolutely.
Okay.
As an immunotoxicologist, I was taught the number one reason why we have chronic illnesses of any kind, including autoimmune disease, including heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, everything. It boils down to the toxins that
Okay.
we're exposed to. That
you
is the
did
number
learn
one
that.
reason. So I did learn that, and that did help later on.
But the solutions become pharmaceutical management and not, well, let's
Exactly.
get rid of then the toxins.
Exactly.
It's
Which
just
is
difficult to square, but go ahead. Sorry.
right. And I can look back and I can see that the way my mom took care of us as kids, and she didn't know. She was, we were back in the 70s, 60s and 70s. That's when antibiotics were very, very popular. And of course, now we know that they absolutely destroy your gut microbiome.
Yes.
But my mom threw antibiotics at us with every little sniffle.
Sure.
She didn't know. She thought she was doing
That's
the right
exactly-
thing.
Yeah.
She didn't
That's
know.
right. We did the same thing with my oldest children back before I knew any different, while I was gaining weight and basically dying. But how many years were you sick? And then take us back to that watershed moment, or maybe it wasn't an instant. Maybe it was a series of events that took place where you started putting together that maybe there would be some hope for you, and where you began to take steps to heal.
Yeah.
How long were you sick?
Well, I started having constant migraines, very severe migraines, when I was 12 years old, and debilitating migraines, the kind that knock you down for a whole week and you can do nothing but lay in a dark room.
That just sounds like torment.
It was. I honestly, this is not an exaggeration. If I had a day without a headache, it was a weird thing. I always had a low grade headache from the time I was 12 years old on. And of course, then what does the doctor say? The doctor says, well, just take about 800 milligrams of ibuprofen about 3 times a day.
For people that don't know that are watching this program, that is a liver ender and a gut
And a kidney,
and
and
a
a gut
yes.
microbiome, and a hormone destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it any wonder?
And you're 12.
And I'm 12.
Wow, sorry.
And I'm 12. And with that severe gut dysbiosis, all the damage that was done in the gut from the antibiotics, what does that create? That creates hormonal issues as well. So I won't get deep into this, but lots of female issues, lots of hormonal and just mood issues, and panic and anxiety that, I had to struggle with for about 20 years before the Lord taught me how to take care of that.
So mid-30s-ish. Wow.
And, my feet started having problems, and I started having, lots of weird little embarrassing issues in the gut, which I know that you know about too, that you have to hide and manage all the time. All the while, I'm this very excited go-getter. Oh, I'm going to be a doctor, and I'm going to fix people, and I'm going to help people, and I'm just going to go.
It's pretty inspiring, though, because you're going through all this pain, years and years, from head to toe, random issues. And yet here you are, persevering and pursuing higher education. I'm a little bit amazed because those things are hard just for someone who feels well. So that's very inspiring. But please continue.
That's just a God thing, I guess. Maybe I'm just stubborn.
Well, you're definitely a fighter, and now you fight for others as well. You care very
Yes.
much about the people that you coach, and in a few minutes, we're going to ask you how people can learn more about what you offer if they want to go online and maybe sign up for some of your teaching or to get some help with, navigating a metal detox, et cetera. But before we get there, you're now mid-30s. Is this when you start to realize man, there's something out there. There's something different. Was that somebody came to you and said, hey, Dorinda, hey, Dory, have you ever seen a naturopathic doctor? There might be some, like, how did you get to, okay, probably pharmaceuticals are worsening all of this.
Yeah.
And there's a different way.
Yeah. That came way later because, when you're going through your training, you're very much brainwashed into the pharmaceutical way.
Sure.
And I do remember at one point going to my advisor, who was an amazing man of God. I just adore him. He didn't know any better either. But I do remember bringing him a whole stack. That was back when you didn't have the internet. And
Right.
if you were going to study the science and do a meta-analysis, you literally had like boxes of papers of scientific analyses to have to go through. And I had stumbled across that there's all these like natural and herbs and nutritional things that people can do. And I'm like, what about this? He's like, oh, no. He's like, look, these are studies from Japan and from Germany and from Israel. We don't trust those. We trust the ones that come from our governmental NIH only, period, or the pharmaceutical studies, period. Don't go down that rabbit hole.
Wow.
Because it's woo-woo.
Oh, my goodness.
It's not real. And I had to come back from that many, many years after about 14 years of severe disability and disease. I had to come back to that and say, dang, that was a lie from Satan because that's God's medicine.
Yeah. It's kind of ironic, too, because now some of the most groundbreaking, holistic, scientific studies are coming out of both Japan and Israel.
Yes, and Germany
it's
and all around the
amazing.
world. Exactly. And even studies here in the United States are now saying, what about a lot of these herbs? And, come to find out, guess what the pharmaceutical companies do in order to make all their trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars? They go to the herbs in South America, they go to the herbs in Africa, and they go to the herbs in these indigenous, places, and they figure out, oh, they're using it for this. Oh, it actually does work. Let's formulate it and synthesize it so that then now we can make tons of money off of it when it's something that's growing naturally that God created, that gave to us in the first place.
Yeah. But they don't want you to buy it outside of the way that they prepare it.
And they're never going to tell you that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. That would go against their business model.
But there's two things I would offer that so that people at home watching the show, well, then why doesn't it work? There's a couple of reasons. They change the compound. They take what is native, the way God created something, and they change the compound. They literally go in and scientifically alter its modality so that it will show some of maybe the side effects or benefits of what you would have gotten if you'd have taken the straight herb so that they can patent and then control it. It's all about insurance companies. It's all about pharmaceutical companies strong-arming you into allowing them to pay enormous amounts of money for something they own the intellectual properties of. Because, how many of you have gone online to see how cheap oregano is, right? Or pine needle tea, or tinctures, shikimic acid. A lot of these are being synthesized and stolen from so that you can get a flu shot, where if you just took the native medicine the way God handed it to you, it's like 900 times more powerful without all the side effects.
Right.
The second part of that is when you change the compound, the body receives it differently. And it has long-term metabolic differences in how your body breaks it down and uses it versus the way that God designed your body to receive it. Does that all make sense if you're wondering, like, well, then why doesn't it work? And what in the world's the deal? That's the deal in a collapsed nutshell. With just a few minutes left, we're already racing through this. People are going to want to know, and we're going to have Dorinda back because we are not going to get this all in one show. Don't fret if we don't answer all of your questions today. Dorinda will be back with us next week to continue this, and I promise we're going to get into a lot of the steps that she finally discovered in reversing a lot of these autoimmune conditions.
Well, I know Joe said we're almost out of time, but I have to ask, all this education that you've had, was there anything, I know you learned about how autoimmune is often triggered by toxins, but did they, in all of that training give you any specific tools to help you feel better?
No. And this is the saddest thing, that no, I was basically brainwashed into believing that autoimmune disease is idiopathic, meaning that we don't know all the real reasons why people get it. We know that it's partially genetic. We know that it's partially toxins. Some of those toxins may come from chronic infections. But other than that, we really don't know. And so therefore, what we do know is that once you get diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, too bad, so sad, you're broken. You are now on the road of progression. And the only thing that we can do is help to lengthen the progression so that you can have a better quality of life with Big Pharma. But you will progress. There is no way around that. That's what I was taught. You will progress. It is incurable. You're broken, so sad, too bad.
And that's exactly what happened to you.
And I believed it.
Yeah.
I believed it.
So tell us about that big moment. Here you are suffering, and you have 7 autoimmune diseases with no hope from allopathic medicine.
Well, expecting to get worse.
Yeah.
Just knowing that I was going to
Hopeless.
get worse.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're a scientist. So a lot of us might draw some hope in a doctor, but you're like, I already know the things that they're learning. This is it for me. Like,
Yeah, I knew more than they knew.
when did the light bulb come on, though? Or was it not a moment? It was a series of things.
No, it was a moment.
Okay.
It was a moment. They told me I would have about 10 years if I'm lucky.
Wow.
At that time, I had progressed to 7 autoimmune diseases, severe fibromyalgia. I was very, very, very ill. I could barely get up off the couch to do the dishes most of the time and stand there for longer than 5 minutes before having to go lay back down. I could go to church if I got enough medication in me, and I was on a cocktail of anywhere between 12 and 20 medications per day, depending on the day. Don't even get me started on what that does in the cells. Okay? Very bad. Just making you worse as time goes on. And I just believed it hook, line, and sinker. And my prayer was that I would be able to live long enough to take care of my granddaughter because I was raising her by myself, because my daughter was also very sick with autoimmune complications that we didn't even realize.
Wow.
And what happened is I was at about year 14 of being ill, thinking that, well, I've at least gotten this extra time out of it. But I was very, very ill. And I had gone into the worst flare that I had ever been in my life. And I was literally laying in bed thinking, okay, well, this is what it feels like to die of an autoimmune disease. This is it. This must be it. And of course, I was scared, really scared. I was laying there one day and thinking all this, and I had to go to the bathroom. And when you're that sick, and most people wouldn't get this unless you've been there, but when you're that sick, just the thought of getting up out of the bed to walk to the bathroom down the hallway, you know, right? It feels like, how am I going to do this? And I was home by myself. And I finally did get up. I made it to the bathroom. I was coming back from the bathroom, and I collapsed on the floor of my bedroom. And that's when the Lord showed me what he needed me to see, that there was a better way, and I could heal.
What was that moment like? Is he speaking to you audibly? Is this a daydream that you have? What do you mean when you say he began to speak to you?
Yeah.
Or he showed you? What do you mean by that?
Well, what happened is I collapsed, and I was laying on the floor, and it's this, you know, you can imagine it's this very like just dramatic. I'm like crying out to the Lord, and you know, and I'm just saying to him, Lord, and I'm kind of mad. Why did you give me all this education? Isn't there something that I can do? I'm a scientist, for crying out loud. why can't you just, if there's anything that I have missed, just show me. Just show me. And he did. He did. I laid there for a little while longer, and then I got back up into bed, and there on the TV screen above my bed was this thing that I thought was pathetic. I thought it was stupid. And it said scleroderma, which was my biggest, most worst diagnosis that they had given me. It said scleroderma and functional medicine. And the first thing that I did, being an arrogant scientist, is I looked at that and I went, yeah, right. Click. Off. And the Holy Spirit was just
wouldn't let it go.
Go back. Watch that. No, I didn't hear it audibly, but I heard it.
It's like an impression. I've been there.
It was go back.
You can
Watch
feel a
that.
command.
Go back.
Yes.
Go back. Go back. And it did take me, because I'm so stubborn, it did take me about an hour to go back.
And you watched the video?
I did. And it was everything that just an arrogant scientist needed to see in order to prove to me that there was a better way. There was more that I wasn't taught in school. And I had been led in this lie of lack of knowledge for 14 years. And there really was a better way.
How many of you think we just can't end it here? We have to have Dorinda next week. These programs always go way too fast, but ladies and gentlemen, sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, we will have Dorinda back next week. And I'm sitting here and I'm exploding with so many follow-up comments that I want. Your journey is so in sync with what resonated with my journey, because it was very similar in that here was my wife telling me, Joe, how about an herbal tea? What about a green tea? I read about an essential oil, and the whole time, 15 years, no, babe, we got the smartest minds on earth looking at me. You can't fix this. It's genetics. And until one day I had my moment, very similar to that. We don't have time today, but we will continue this next week. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we're all out of time. Everybody here in studio, Dorinda, Jamie, thank you for being here again with us this week. Keep your eyes on the prize, which is Jesus Christ. We will be back with Dorinda next week.